Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi. Today I would like to share with you our small-scale study entitled Pedagogical Perspective of Blended Learning During Pandemic COVID-19, which focus on flipped learning in new norm. So my group and I actually from EDD Malaysia, all right, would like to show you. The first thing is on the overview of this small-scale study. We are going to touch on the abstract, on the introduction, problem statement, literature review, the methods, how we do this small case study, and also the finding, and as well as discussion and conclusion. So beforehand, let us look on the abstract. So the purpose of this small scale study is actually to highlight the importance of pedagogical perspective of blended learning during pandemic COVID-19 in Malaysia. So this study is actually used a random sampling, a survey conducted from July 2020 until January 2021. So the data was analyzed by three methods, which are, the first one is independent t-test, the second one is one-way ANOVA, and finally we use descriptive statistical analysis. So this study is actually want to see the hypothesis of three research questions, okay, on the teacher awareness on COVID-19 and their readiness to blended learning. To what extent do the teachers exercise the blended learning in a social contact with students and parents through online environments, and how do co-challenges, okay, of teaching during pandemic COVID-19, okay, affect the teachers' practices. And finally, the findings of this small case study highlighted targeted respondents that they had claimed that they had above average level of means equal to 3.30, and also the significant differences is equal to 0.693 of awareness in blended learning. If you see here, result retrieved from one-way ANOVA with the assumptions of equal variance indicated that there is no significant differences in teacher awareness for blended learning during the COVID-19 pandemic based on teachers. There is a significant difference in teacher awareness for blended learning during the COVID-19 based on teachers' educational level. And also using the Turkey analysis, we find out that primary and secondary school teachers differ significantly in their extent of communication with the student and also the parents. And finally, using what we call it the descriptive analysis, we found out that most of the teachers, which equal to 73.9%, reported that they did not have sufficient ICT literacy to carry out blended learning during the pandemic COVID-19. So what we found here is that it is a critical moment to reflect on the findings that might affect COVID-19 education and blended learning practices. So this paper is actually urged educational leaders to think carefully about the decisions they are currently making, and if they indeed pave the way to a desirable future of education. Next, let us look on the introductions. Well, at present, schools in Malaysia have undergone lockdown as part of the consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic since March 2020 and partially reopened in July 2020, and now at present, we are closed down again. Okay, and a rapid increase in the infection of the virus resulted in several fatalities. Okay, the number it keep increasing, and school had to be locked down again. So teachers were confronted with the urge to adapt with blended learning, which is a mix of home-based learning and also in-school activities that cater both online and offline approaches to learning. So in relation, blended learning is an educational approach which integrates superficially noticeable educational methods such as face-to-face in-school activities, online experiences, and also home-based learning. So in this blended learning environment, classroom teaching and learning can be flipped. Okay, for example, be intensified with learning materials offered in a variety of technologically delivered formats. So this extensive evidence is expected to show that a blended learning approach, which makes face-to-face, online learning materials and home-based learning, is sufficiently more effective rather using only face-to-face educational and presented according to comprehensive pedagogical principles. So all of these practices involve learning and consideration of the concept of place or distance and the use of technology. One might indicate that to call it blended learning of offline learning as well as home-based learning. So they are flipped actually. They are flipped learning in new norm that teachers and students are urged to grasp on. So improvement in both school curriculums and digital technology as a learning model continue to gain momentum. So in this article or in this small scale study, we explored and investigated randomly how teachers in Malaysia have adapted to online teaching during this COVID-19 school closures. So in par with the studies from others done, for example, by Daniel, Diego, Joanna, and Nina 2020, we tried to explore three research questions, which are the first one, okay, what is the teacher's awareness for blended learning during the COVID-19 pandemic based on their gender, teaching experience, teaching institutions, and also educational levels? And the second research question, we look on to what extent do the teachers exercise the blended learning in terms of maintaining the social contact with students and parents, providing online lessons, introducing new learning content, providing task differentiation, and also providing feedback through online environment. And finally, for the research question number 3, we are looking on what is the extent of co-teaching challenges during this pandemic of COVID-19 in terms of the digital devices, internet connections, teachers' technological pedagogical knowledge, as well as the teacher ICT literacy. Well, if you look on the problem segments, okay, we pointed out that while education experts continue to debate on the effectiveness of the blended learning, all right, its existence has challenged them to reevaluate, okay, not just about the ICT existence and managing the tools in and out of the classroom, but also how, okay, how to reach and teach students more effectively in this new norm. So locally, schools began partially reopen in July 2020, then closed again in November 2020, and until at present, we are closing again because of this lockdown. So remain in place, and any prediction as to when closures will end completely seems to be hardly possible at the moment. Well, if you can see that teachers face significant challenges in adapting to online teaching with several hurdles. For example, the internet connection, okay, and then lack of proper devices to go with the situation, let alone students are nowhere to be seen, okay, or they are not be seen to appear online, or they need to maintain at least minimum communication with students and supporting students' learning and environment. So other methods related to discovering the unexpected educational challenges and crises have been spotted and leading to inequalities in education really unbearable and critical. Well, consequently, the degree to which teachers have successfully grasped the synergy of new norm methods of delivering the teaching and learning still cannot be confirmed. So as you can see that the blended learning and which factors are most relevant to be applied, okay, in this new norm still remain unknown because non-statistical evidence had not been proven just yet. Well, if you look at the literature review, so the evolution of technology has brought a drastic change in the synergy of regulations education. So the development of ubiquity of the internet, all right, have a significant role in causing great impact of the new norm. Nevertheless, as being reported in most countries worldwide, an enormous number of schools is lagging behind with respect to the proper usage, okay, of the information and communication technology, ICT. And in the new norm, teachers, students, and parents are forced to accept an entirely new situation due to the school lockdown. So possible alternative means of schooling via blended learning, okay, is expected to be commenced that require teachers to utilize digital tools, digital resources, and methods to continue schooling. The current adversity of the COVID-19 pandemic resulting in several unbearable obstacles that affected the students with disabilities, okay, and cause great unpredictable hiccups, resulting in several what you call it hiccups in every classroom worldwide. This is according to Basham et al. 2020. Well, what we can see here, numerous factors contribute to the positive influx on the success of blended learning and also flipped learning of the new norm. So teachers are expected to be committed and well versed in this blended learning, okay, or hybrid education and its technologies. So teachers must bear a clear comprehension, okay, and well grasp what you call it and well grasp of the what you call it hybrid education and its technologies. So as for students, okay, they must bear a clear comprehension, okay, and they need to follow this. And then what happened is was found out by Verdict et al. 2020, saying that the impact of COVID-19 has revealed three findings, which are the difficulties faced by the stakeholders. The second one is provide descriptions, okay, on how to respond and adapt to digital teaching. And finally, they find out that analyze stakeholders' experience. So again, nevertheless, core challenges faced by teachers to overcome this, what I call it, challenge were most tremendously tested in the past few months, or maybe we can say a year already. All right, and a school, also the tertiary levels, culminate the anniversary of teaching and learning predominantly via blended learning platforms. Next, we look at method. So if you look here, okay, data collections began from July 2020 until January 2021. So this study managed to obtain a total of 214 teachers nationwide to respond through an online questionnaire. So if you see here, the figure 1 stated that there were 41 male, which equal to 19.2%, and 173 females, which equal to 80.8% teachers participated in this small-scale study. So the number of female teachers were higher than the male teachers. Next, if you look at figure 2, it shows that 21% of participants had teaching experience between 11, okay, between 11 to 15 years, which equal to 45%. 20.6% had teaching experience of over 26 years and above, and this equal to number of 44%. And then 18.7% had 16 to 20 years of experience, and the number is 40%, and 16.4% had 21 to 25 years, which shows that there are 35%. Well, other than that, we can find out that primary school teachers constitute, okay, the majority, which total up as 142 and equal to 66.4% respondent of this particular research, which you can see in figure 3, okay, number of teachers based on their teaching and institution. And if you look at figure 4, okay, it stated that number of teachers based on their educational educational level. So most respondents were degree holders. Okay, and that's if you look at the next one. Okay, we are going to talk on the data analysis. If you look here, the instrument was an online questionnaire with 4 sections, and it was created using Google Form. The first section was for teachers' demographic background, which focused on the gender, teaching experience, teaching institutions, as well as their educational level. And then the subsequent 3 major sections focus on blended learning awareness, communication, and co-challenges. And this instrument is using 5-point and 4-point Likert scale. Again, this instrument, okay, are being tested or being tabulated using during 3 what call it. The first one is independent t-test. The second one is one-way ANOVA, and the third one is descriptive statistical analysis. Well, beforehand, okay, if you look here, we have like 4 independent t-tests, 1 ANOVA, and descriptive statistical analysis have been conducted to examine the hypothesis, okay, of the 3 major question of the research question. So if we find here, items 1 to 15 had been tested, all right, to answer RQ1. Item 16 to 23 is tested to find out the what you call it, the answers or for RQ2, and item 24 to 28 are used to find out the answers for RQ1. And then for RQ1, this study aims to discover the teachers' awareness for blended learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, as what I mentioned just now, is on their gender, teaching experience, teaching institution, educational level. And as for RQ2, we had categorized the items into 2 parts, okay, which indicated that items 16 to 19 had been analyzed to measure the significant difference in the extent of maintaining communication with students or parents during the COVID-19 pandemic based on teachers' genders, teachers' experience, teaching institution, and also educational level. And for item 20 to 23 had been analyzed to determine the frequency of blended learning methods, okay, providing online lessons, all right, introducing new learning contents, providing task differentiation, okay, and also providing feedback. So in terms of maintaining active learning, online learning, engagement with students. And finally, for research question 3, okay, item 24 to 28 had been analyzed to determine the extent of core teaching challenge during the pandemic COVID-19 in terms of digital devices, internet connection, teachers' technological, pedagogical knowledge, and also the teachers' ICT literacy. Okay, next. Now this is what you can find here is table 1. All right, table 1 show that the t-test for equality of means for blended learning awareness based on gender. So to investigate the RQ1, the Levin test was used, okay, to indicate the variances of blended learning awareness, which could be assumed equal to F equal to 0.79, and the p-value is 0.778. So if you see in this table 1, there is no significant differences, okay, in teacher learning awareness based on gender, all right, during the pandemic COVID-19, which show that P equal to 1.313, and the significant to tail show that 0.191. So this one is actually stated that male is 41% and female is equal to 173 persons. Okay, next, if you look here, this is table 2. Okay, and then if you see here, again, we use 11 tests. So this table 2 showing that it states that it used one-way ANOVA for blended learning awareness by teaching experience group. So result indicated that the what you call it blended learning awareness could be assumed equal to F5200 equal to 0.556 and indicate that the value of P is 0.734 for the 6 teaching experience groups. So as shown in this table 2, the result for one-way ANOVA with assumption of equal variance indicated that there is no significant difference in teachers' awareness for blended learning during COVID-19 pandemic based on their teaching experience. So it shows that F is equal to 1.367 while significant total is equal to 0.238. And this is actually consists of experiences of the teachers from 1 to 5 years. We can find out that there are 17 of them, and experience of 6 to 10 years teaching, we have 33 of them, and experience of teaching within 11 to 15 years, we have 45%, as well as more than 26 years, we have like 44%. Next, if you look here, okay, finding for table 3, we can see that again we still use the Levin test, and then the result for Levin test indicated that the variance for blended learning awareness could be assumed equal to F2211 is equal to 0.242 and the p-value is equal to 0.785 for the 3 teaching institution group, which are primary, secondary, and also tertiary level. So as shown in the table, the result of one-way ANOVA was assumption of equal variance indicated that there is no significant differences in teachers' awareness, okay, awareness for blended learning during the commit based on teaching institution group. So here we can find out that F is equal to 1.280 and the significant P is 0.280. So if you see here, the teaching institution group is primary is equal to 142%, secondary is equal to 64%, whereas the third group is tertiary is equal to 8%. Okay, next is table 4. If you see here, all right, result again for Levin test, it shows that tested for the variance for blended learning that can be assumed is equal to F2211 is equal to 0.099 and the p-value is 0.906 for the 3 educational level groups. So as shown in this table 4, the result of one-way ANOVA with assumption of with the assumption of equal variance indicated that there is no, because there is no significant difference in teacher awareness based on educational level group. So indicated that F for the test is 6.189 and the p-value is equal to 0.02. And here you see the degree holders, all right, of the teachers who participated in this group study is actually equal to 166 persons, and those who hold masters, there are 44 of them, and finally a PhD, there are 4 of them who participated in this small scale study. All right, next, if you look here, we use another test which we call it the Turkey XSD or the Turkey Honor Significant Difference method. So for this method, okay, the Turkey XSD for blended learning awareness by educational level group, okay, we can find out that in table 5, okay, result for Turkey indicated that teachers who possesses, all right, bachelor's degrees and master degrees differed, okay, they are differed significantly, which shows that mean differences is equal to negative 0.346, which carries p-value at 0.008 in their blended learning awareness. And then the teachers in the bachelor degree group, which equal to means equal to 3.21, and then the standard deviation equal to 0.669 had obtained a lower level of blended learning awareness as compared to the teachers in the master degrees group, which equal to means 3.56 and the standard deviation equal to 0.669. Nevertheless, there is no significant differences in blended learning awareness between the PhD holders and also the master degree holders, which we can see that the means deviation is equal to negative 0.345 and the p-value is equal to 0.597. And then similarly to the group of PhD holder and bachelor degree holder, the means differentiation equal to 0.698 and the p-value equal to 0.342. So it shows that there is no significant difference in their awareness. So if you see here, these are all comparing, okay, the means difference is significant at the level of 0.05. Okay, next. Okay, for table 6, okay. If you look here, except for bachelor and master degree grouping, there were no significant differences in teacher awareness for blended learning during the COVID-19 pandemic based on their gender, based on their teaching experience, teaching institution, and also educational level for these two subgroups. Overall, okay, the targeted respondent had claimed that they had, okay, above average of means 3.30 and the standard deviation here shows that equal to 0.693 of awareness in blended learning. So this we use the descriptive statistic analysis. So if you see here, the standard error of mean is equal to 0.4735. Okay, next. So this table 7, okay, is used. All right, still use the Levin test. So to investigate the RQ2, okay, the Levin test has indicated that the variance of the existence of communication could be assumed equal to f 0.181 and the p-value is equal to 0.671. So as shown in this table 7, there is no significant difference in the extent of communication based on gender with the students and parents during the COVID-19. So if you see here, the T212, okay, equal to 0.153 and the p-value is equal to 0.878. And if you see here, the what you call it, the sampling involved in this study are male equal to 41% and the female equal to 173 persons. Next, if you look at table 8, okay, for table 8, again, result from Levin test indicated that the variance for the extent of communication by teaching experience group could be assumed, okay, equal to F5208 and is equal to 1.600 and indicate p-value equal to 0.161 for the teaching experience group. As shown in table 8, the result for one-way ANOVA, okay, with assumption of equal variance, indicated that there is no significant difference in the extent of communication with students and parents during the COVID-19 pandemic based on teaching experience group. So we can see here the F is 5.208 is equal to 2.135 and the significant p-value is 0.063. Okay, and then if you see here under here is the what you call it, the teaching experience, all right, of the teachers involved in this small scale study. Okay, next is on table 9. All right, if you see on the table 9 here, again we still use a Levin test. All right, and the result from the Levin test indicated that the variance for the extent of communication by teaching institution groups, okay, could be assumed equal to F2211 is equal to 1.603 and carries p-value of 0.204 for the three teaching institutions groups. So as shown in this table 9, the result for the one-way ANOVA with assumption of equal variance indicated that there is a significant difference in the extent, all right, of communication with students and parents during the COVID-19 pandemic based on teacher institution, which shows that F2211 is equal to 3.708 and carries p-value of 0.026. And again, teachers that involved in this small case study stated that primary teachers are 142, secondary teachers are 64, and the tertiary level, equal to 8%. All right, next on table 9. Okay, if you look here on table 9, these ones again based on the result from Turkey method or Turkey honest significant difference method indicated that the primary school teachers and secondary school teachers differed significantly on the mean deviation of 0.358, and they have p-value significantly on 0.022 in their extent of communication. And then from primary school teachers shows that means is equal to 3.56 and the standard deviation is equal to 0.865, had managed, to maintain higher level of extent in terms of communicating with their students and parents as compared, to the secondary school teachers, which shows that M equal to 3.20 and standard deviation which equal to 0.9004. So nevertheless, there is no significant differences in the extent of communication, between secondary school teachers and tertiary level lecturers. So it shows that the mean differences is equal to negative 0.781 and the p-value is 0.970. Okay, similarly, the group between tertiary level of lecturers and primary school teachers, it shows that MD is equal to minus 0.280 and the significant P is equal to 0.662. So these are what we call it at the par of means differences is significant at the 0.05 level. Okay, next, if you see here on table 11. So again, this table 11, which from the one-way ANOVA, for the extent of communication by educational level group, is indicated that the variances for the extent of communication could be assumed, equal F2211, which equal to 0.009, and the p-value indicate 0.991 for the three educational level groups. So as shown in the table 11, the result for one-way ANOVA with assumption, of equal variance indicated that there is no significant difference in the extent of communication with students and parents during the pandemic COVID-19 based, on the educational level group, which shows that F is 1.77 and the p-value is 0.72. And the sampling involved in this small case study for this test is degree holders, which equal to 166 person, master holders, which are 44, and the PhD were 4%. Okay, next findings that can be shown in table 12. Okay, as shown in table 12, most of the teachers, had provided online lesson, which indicate 39.7% or several times, 43% in a week to maintain active online learning engagement with their students. So you can see here, majority of the teachers also introduce new content. You see new contents that equal to 46.3%. Providing task differentiation is equal to 40.7%, and giving feedback, which equal to 36.9%, at least once a week in order to maintain active learning engagement via blended learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. All right, next is, okay, to answer the RQ3, all right, to answer the RQ3 as is in clear in stated, is clear from table 13, during the COVID-19 pandemic, teachers had faced core challenges such as insufficient ICT literacy, okay, which carried out means equal to 3.88 and the standard deviation equal to 1.291. So limited digital devices shows that means equal to 3.67, and then the standard deviation is equal to 1.06. And the poor internet connection, the mean shows that it is equal to 3.65, standard deviation equal to 1.519, and so on. And you see that most of the teachers were reported, okay, that they did not have sufficient ICT literacy, which carries like 73.9% above scale 3 to carry out the blended learning. So they also, okay, encountered the availability of digital devices, which carry 63.3% above scale 3, and internet connection, which carry 60.8% above scale 3 issues. So, well, finally, if you see here, the discussion, all right, as the COVID pandemic lockdown, almost all aspects of society and everyday life, school and other educational institutions had to learn, okay, to independent, to learn to organize communication and also interaction in new norm. So this study is actually aimed, all right, to gather the data on the importance of pedagogical perspective of blended learning used among the teachers involved during the pandemic COVID-19 in Malaysia. So we scrutinize how teachers nationwide, okay, pedagogically adapted to blended learning and practice flipped classroom in this new norm during this COVID-19 school closures. So for RQ1, okay, is concerned on the teacher awareness for blended learning during the COVID-19 pandemic, based on their gender, based on their teaching experience, based on the teaching institution, and also educational level. So finding reported that there is no significant differences, okay, in teachers' awareness for blended learning during the during the COVID-19 pandemic based on those factors. And what you call it, next, however, result from Turkey indicated that teachers who possesses bachelor's degrees and master degrees, okay, differed significantly in their blended learning awareness, meaning that the higher level of the education of being possessed by teachers, they are more alert, okay, they are more alert on the blended learning usage in their teaching and learning process. So teachers in the bachelor degrees group had obtained, okay, a lower level of blended learning awareness as compared to the teachers in the master's level or even PhD group. So nevertheless, all right, there is no significant in blended learning awareness between the PhD holder and the master degree holders. So similarly, the group of between PhD holders and the bachelor degree holders had no significant differences in their awareness. Okay, now how they exercise the blended learning in their teaching and method and remain in contact with their student is investigated, all right, in RQ2, okay, in which that in what extent, okay, of communication the teachers with students and parents, okay. So again, findings from the Turkey HSD find it out that it indicated that primary school teachers and secondary school teachers, okay, differed significantly in their extent of communication. So meaning that primary school teachers had managed, okay, to maintain higher level of extent in terms of communicating with the students and their parents as compared to the secondary school teachers. And again, finding from RQ3 indicated that the teachers, of course, okay, they face challenges, okay, they face core challenges, okay, core teaching challenges during the pandemic COVID-19 in terms of digital devices, okay, the internet connection, All right. Teachers' technological, pedagogical knowledge, and also the teachers' ICT literacy. So, though mastered challenge in this situation, and what factors, okay, could be could account for their successfully mastery of such challenges still in vague. Okay, so this finding of this small case study is actually expected to be the jumpstart, okay, to be the jumpstart to urge the educational leaders to find out, okay, means, okay, to ensure that students can continue their studies despite the crisis and social distancing. All right, next for the conclusion. Okay, if you see here, all right, okay, we have like four factors that we can highlight for the conclusion. All right. So again, for this small scale study, is intended, all right, to accumulate information on teachers' awareness on the risks, all right, exhibited by the COVID-19 pandemic through tight standard, okay, operation procedure, which is well known as SOP, standard operation procedure, and the implementation of the enhanced communicative quarantine commands, a call for action for an alternative mode of new norm learning. So the adaptations of blended learning in teaching among the teachers during this COVID-19, okay, is what call it is long, okay, to be urged and then to be practiced, and it's also is a good what you call it indicator, all right, indicator of good practices in flipped classroom in this new norm. So school should opt to continue for the distance learning for the school year along with providing teacher capabilities, all right, and competence building for distance learning education. So likewise, investing in the facilities, all right, and equipment needed for blended learning is an excellent idea, all right? It's an excellent idea to enhance the school capability in delivering distance learning to the students. So although in Malaysia, all right, we have like the curriculum development section, or we call it CDS, has structured the aligned, okay, syllabus to suit the demand of this blended learning during this pandemic. It is further recommended to restructure, okay, the curriculum syllabus that is simple and attainable to the learners' level of limited capacity restricted by social distancing, because we don't have anymore like for face-to-face within the four walls or lack of it, okay. And then what we can have here, the feasibility of the delivery of printed materials through the access from the school should also be taken into consideration. We call it off-site learning, whereby it will be beneficial to employ, all right, various media to feature more academic lessons in audio, printed and visual like TV and radio like web TV channel, okay, Astro Education channel, TV of TV7, all right, and so on. And again, Malaysian Ministry of Education has made the stride, all right, to come out with the digital educational learning initiative Malaysia, or is very well known as the Lima, all right, and the technology superior big three, which are Google, okay, Microsoft, and also Apple, provide the latest digital learning platform. And then again, others like the NGO like EDD Malaysia, Eduscape Holding, Academic YouTube, Kelab Guru Malaysia, and so on, all right, play a very respected, significant role by providing serial, all right, of training courses for the educators and teachers. So result collected during this survey conducted show the contextualization of learning design and output, okay, can be considered, as well as on-job training on how to utilize the platform provided need to be shared extensively. So need to be shared extensively with teachers nationwide. Nevertheless, there are numbers of teachers out there who do or still do not have, okay, competence or reluctant, okay, with the digital learning platform, providing by the technological, what call it, spear big tree mentioned earlier, and others learning support. All right. But again, the teacher competence is expected, okay, to be extensive, well exercised. So again, ladies and gentlemen, educational or educators are entering 2021, and we are now in June 2021 with experience from the former year. So students are now getting at use or getting at ease used to receiving information, okay, via Google Meet, all right, via a Zoom session, via WhatsApp, via Telegram, and other social media platforms. So the online, what we call it, management system adopted by schools and tertiary levels are now rapidly utilized, okay, by the academic ecosystem. So again, students are expected to perform via the blended learning as well as they are conducted in distance and flipped learning, which they're democratizing, okay, education for all. And then if you see here, the effective teaching and learning can only occur if content delivery is proficient. And then hence, blended learning may effortlessly trigger, okay, the process to overcome the adversity. So again, continued monitoring and evaluation of this blended learning could be a very great help, all right, to enhance the system of delivering the flipped classroom or flipped learning in this new norm. So I hope that this, what call it, sharing of this small case study will open eyes, okay, especially to the educators and also the stakeholders on how, okay, to proceed the teaching and learning with at ease, efficiently, and can be carried out anywhere, anytime with platform that being shared just now. Okay, and finally, last but not least, we would like to give the acknowledgement, okay, and the deepest gratitude to all the teachers and educators in Malaysia who had been participated in the survey for this small scale study. With that, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.